Juggalos! This seminar right here, we are gonna break it down, all of the goods, the bads, the uglies, and of course the beautiful things about the gathering of the Juggalos. Of course, we've got a panel up here who has been to every fucking gathering there is, or was. Of course, the one and only, all the way from FagoLovers.net, someone who I consider one of the greatest people in the world. My friend Scotty fucking D is in the building.
Scotty D! Scotty D!
Scotty D! Scotty D! Next to Scotty, I've known this guy ever since he was a young lad, which means that I'm an old man, but that's okay. This guy, I've watched him elevate from being just out there with y'all to be rocking stage with us. Of course, I'm talking about the one and only DJ Shimmy Sham in the building. And I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my sister. I'll tell you what, I've known this young lady for a long time. Oh, hello. And by the way, you want to talk about a pure soul who has nothing but love? Straight up, man. Rachel Paul is one of the greatest human beings I've ever met in my life. And I mean that. And I mean that.
I'm just a reflection of your greatness. Everybody give it up for the one and only Rudy Hill the Rubo!
Thank you. But look, let's keep it real. Let's keep it so fucking real right here. All of this right here is impossible to put together. But one man sacrifices day and night. And I'm telling you, because I watch the man every fucking day and night sleeping in his office on the fucking floor for this, to make all of this happen. The one and only Robert Bruce Jump Steady.
Thank you so much. You guys are the shit. All right, so basically, you got here like me, Rachel Paul, and Rudy, and Bill. We're the main ninjas that put the gathering together this year. We've been working really hard. Rudy has been fucking locking down the JCW wrestling.
Main event, y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Booking it, putting it on, organizing it. Rachel Paul's been schooling the graphic design,
but I gotta
the
say,
writing, the organization.
I gotta say, who really makes it happen is every motherfucker right here. Make some noise, y'all, for each other. Woo woo.
All right, what we wanted to do for the 20 years of the Gathering Seminar is kind of go through all the years of the Gathering and relive some of the history. Now, me, Rachel Paul, and Vinny, and Little Rudy, we basically sat and had a conversation about this, and it was 3.5 hours long.
So,
as we were going through all the memories, all the events, everything that's happened during the 20 years, kind of reliving all the flavor, and it was awesome. We only got an hour here, so we're gonna try to keep things rolling, starting with the very first gathering of the Juggalos. We're talking about 2000. The year was 2000. There was only, I don't know how many ninjas were there that year.
Who was there? Make some noise.
Right.
Oh, veterans in the house.
Now, the very first gathering was actually at the Novi Expo Center. There was only 7 artists total performing that year, and that was it. And basically, the events were held in the parking lot. So you had like wrestling and all this stuff going on in the parking lot. And then outside at night, there was the actual concerts, okay? Now, one interesting story that happened during the seminar, and this is the very first original, hopefully you guys can see this, the very first original flyer for this gathering. And one of the most interesting things about this that I found out was there was a sleep with Shaggy contest. Straight up, a sleep with Shaggy contest.
Okay.
So it was a different time back then, obviously. But, you know, and things have evolved, but that is the original lineup right there. We got the Insane Clown Posse, Twisted, Misery, Cottonmouth Kings, Blaze, and Project Born, and that was it.
That was it.
Those were the 7 samurais, if you will, of the OG gathering. And things have changed, you know, everything always changes. Violent J has said that. Things always change. Things were super fresh with everybody back then, but we all know that there's been a long history. 20 years is a long time. All right, we can go through some of these photos. Some of the events I wanted to bring up, or some of the things that happened also, is there was a JCW event from the very start, and the ring broke on the second day.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Because Violent J called everybody into the ring, and there was so many ninjas, the whole thing just kind of fucking collapsed to the ground.
It was an incredible sight, having 700 Juggalos in an 18 by 18 ring, wrestling ring, bouncing, jumping up and down. It was fucking incredible, but yeah.
So some of the events we had there, you see some OG photos right here looking all extra grainy. We had the tour bus rides, seminars, Miss Juggalette pageant, the Nen game. Interestingly enough, the Miss Juggalette pageant and the Nen game are the only contests that have been to every single gathering that there ever was.
Give it up for the Miss Juggalette pageant.
Everything else has changed. The costume contest, lingerie contest, tattoo and art contest, this was all on the first day. For the tattoo contest, the winner got to wrestle with Insane Clown Posse. Do you remember this?
Right, yeah.
The winner of the tattoo contest got to wrestle with ICP during the main event at JCW.
It's true. It's absolutely true. You know, the memories that I have of that particular day, the first ever gathering of the Juggalos, that morning, myself, Violent J, and Shaggy 2 Dope, we flew to Howard Stern. And we were going to Howard Stern to promote this new concept called the Gathering of the Juggalos. And everybody in the studio looked at us and was like, that shit'll never work. Well, look, motherfucker, 20 years later.
Okay, during the main concert, when ICP performed, at the end of the performance, Juggalos rushed the stage and literally destroyed it. Basically, everybody wanted a piece of the stage set, so it basically literally destroyed the stage. There was literally nothing left of the stage when it was all done. You just saw pieces being carried through the crowd. You know what I mean? Giant props just moving to the back.
Oh, shit.
And then just like a swarm of ants. Just
I was so happy we didn't have to pack the trucks. I was so happy.
Now, this was the first time ever that Juggalos really came together in a big way, all from the Midwest at that time.
And before the internet really took off.
Because like at that time, you know, the Juggalo world was probably just in the Midwest, you know, and everybody realized it was pure magic. Now, after the event, the Novi Expo Center did not want us back. They didn't want nothing to do with it. They were just, this is the most insane shit to them ever. And there was a moment, I want to bring this up. Some people, you know, some of y'all ninjas know about it, but they opened the doors early before we were ready, and none of our workers were in position. And all the Juggalos rushed in to the merch vendor area, and ninjas just started grabbing shit because nobody was there. And two Juggalos,
fuck that shit.
Two Juggalos jumped behind these big dudes too. They jumped behind the merch booth and they said, "Oh hell no!" And they just stopped it from happening. They shut it down.
That's the Juggalo love.
And I don't know, look, I don't know who those Juggalos are, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never even really seen them again. But I want it, to this day, I'm so grateful, man, that they had our backs, because that's respect, you know
that's
what I mean?
Right, whoa.
There was another moment I lost my diamond charm during a gathering, and a Juggalo couple gave it back to me. They
And this
found
isn't
it.
this isn't just
Gave
a
it
diamond
back.
charm. This is one of the original 5 Don charms.
All right.
And they gave it back. Good shit.
Now, years later, DCG 2018, we tried to come back to the Novi Expo Center, and they were still like, hell no.
They were laughing.
They remember. They were like, oh, hell no. All right, next we go to the Toledo Seagate Center. Now, during that performance, there's a map. You see the program, the original program, which is one of the sickest programs ever, by the way. During that performance, there was only like 9 performers, including Mars, Dark Lotus for the first time, Vanilla Ice, and 3-6 Mafia. Now, at the time, Vanilla Ice was really looked down upon, like by the world, the outside world. He was being hated on. And when he came in, he was so embraced by the Juggalos that to this day he's got mad love and respect for all of us, because we were the only crew, the only ninjas that were showing him love. Everybody else was just like, oh, Robert Van Winkle, he's a fake, he's a fraud, fuck him. You know what I mean? And I always looked at that like, a lot of us we're ostracized by the outside world. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us have a hard time dealing with society in general. And you come in here and you find there's a family here that accepts you no matter what. You know what I'm saying? It's all love no matter what. It's like open arms no matter what. Like no judgment, nothing. You know what I mean? And so that was really a special moment that he came in and performed, was blown away, and has been wearing Hatchet Man's Juggalo gear, psychopathic gear ever since then. You know,
And give it up for Vanilla Ice, that's our brother.
No.
Go
Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Go.
All right, during that one, some of the interesting things we had at that gathering was a professional skater show, get in the ring where you battle with each other for free, girly freak show with a Tesla coil, dinner with Jelly Nuts seminar, pendulum role playing, the Don for the Day contest. When you won the Don for the Day contest, you got to spend a day at Psychopathic as a Don, making all the decisions for the day, being in all the meetings, and then, of course, afterwards going to the strip club and the casino, which is what us Dons did at that time.
That's part of the job.
That's all part of the job. It's all there.
And you got a fat-ass paycheck, too, at the end of the day.
We did the Big Baller contest, which was me, Alex, and Rudy were the original. Trike races, there was a Juggalo wedding, all that was there.
Can we bring back the Big Baller contest? Because I had so much fun doing that.
Now, not a lot of ninjas remember this, but we had a psychopathic flying saucer. It was a 7-foot inflatable. It was probably the first drone ever made. It was an inflatable flying saucer with a camera on it, with a live internet feed. Now, the hotel parties were off the chain. Okay, it was ridiculous because there was hotels next to it, and it was totally, they had lost all control of those hotels. Every floor juggaloed out on the balconies, hanging out the windows.
Well,
Smoke alarms were continually going off.
at the end of the Lotus set, Jay fucked up kind of because he was like, party at the Radisson, party at the Radisson. Everybody rushed that motherfucker. You was shoulder to shoulder like a fucking sardine in that lobby.
It was so out of control that I remember Joey having to get on the mic and say, Juggalos, you gotta calm this shit down, or they're gonna shut the whole event down.
Yeah, they had an intercom system running throughout all the rooms, and yeah, Shaggy had to get up there.
Juggalos don't need to calm the fuck down, they're gonna throw us out.
The smoke alarms were continually going off from all the weed, and it was all Juggalos in one small wedding party. And they were like, what the fuck is going on? And they were just locked away in their rooms the whole time.
You know, another food for thought that happened at that particular gathering, Madman Pondo and I, we went to a Denny's later on that evening, and we walked in and we're like, wow, this is pretty fucking empty. And they're like, we ran out of fucking food. We didn't know how many fucking Juggalos were gonna be here. They ran out of food
Juggalos
at a
broke
fucking
Denny's.
Denny's.
Okay, so then the Juggalos again, everybody rushed the stage. Bah! It was like second song. It was like ICP just went on, and all the ninjas rushed the stage, destroyed the set again. All right, they ushered everybody outside because they're like, oh shit, it's a riot. They rushed everybody outside, the police were there, and they were chilling. Everything's all right until this one ninja uppercutted a police horse. Like straight up, the cop, I don't know if that ninja's here, but y'all fucking crazy.
He got arrested for assaulting a police officer.
The cop was like yelling at him to fucking move on, and so he just did some fucking, I don't even know what to call it, but he just uppercutted the horse. The horse was staggering nearly, the cop nearly fell. Tear gas came out, rubber bullets, the whole fucking nine. It was the first real, like, situation, I think.
Maybe the horse deserved it.
Yeah, fast forward.
The horse was standing on his foot. In his defense, the horse was standing on his foot.
Okay, needless to say, Toledo never wanted us back. Okay, and we were a band there for about 10 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
From doing concerts
or anything, we were a band.
We couldn't even have wrestling in the city of Toledo, Ohio, because they were like, fuck no. Not
Okay.
after that.
In Peoria, Illinois, things did not get any better. Okay. No. There were 12 performers there. I'm just mentioning the new performers. I'm not going to run over any of the ones we already mentioned. Kitty, Mac 10, Anybody Killer for the first time. Zug Island for the first time. Esham for the first time. As a mystery guest. And of course, Bubba Sparks. Now, for all y'all that don't know, Bubba Sparks caught it because he took too long getting out on stage, and he was kind of a mainstream artist, and thus became the Bubba Sparks Award.
And he had a really shitty attitude. Straight up.
He deserved it.
All right, so
Juggalos.
He was just a little too high and mighty.
So at the seminar, we had a hypnotist show, face painting, Faygo drinking competition, win a date, a massage parlor,
Oh my God.
in quotations. We had the Juggalo Gong Show, which was the first time. And we had an event called Pictures with Chad.
Chad.
Now I want to bring forward Chad. We actually have the original Chad with us
Chad is
today.
in the building. Chad is here.
We had a seminar where you just got to come and take pictures with Chad. That was it.
Chad.
There's Chad.
Now why he's wearing no pants, I don't know. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna leave him out front here in case you all wanna take a picture with Chad, because this used to be an event. Now Joe, actually Violent J broke his wrist the first night stage diving. I don't know if any of you know that, but he had to go to the hospital. And there was another riot. So what happened, there was two juggalettes coming down the hallway showing their breasts. The cops seen it, they arrested them, and they were taking them down the hallway to put them in a room. While they were going down the hallway, they were getting kind of wild. They didn't want to be arrested. We all saw it, we got mad.
Fuck that shit.
Started a chant, let our juggalettes go. Let our juggalettes go, right? And it got really fucking loud. So I showed up and I'm like, oh shit, this shit's out of hand. Give me a megaphone.
Exhibit A.
All of a sudden, tear gas was everywhere. Rubber bullets in the hallway of the Toledo Convention Center.
Peoria.
Peoria. Everybody got led outside. And then everybody was like, oh shit, it's about to end.
What'd you say?
And that,
They had paintballs filled with pepper spray. You heard it from Nick.
and this right here is an infamous picture of me getting up on a ladder with a megaphone. And I basically gave a speech like, hey y'all, calm the fuck down. The gathering is not over, we're coming back inside. The juggalettes are fine, I spoke to them, and basically calmed everything down. It was kind of a legendary moment because they were about to shut it down, but I was able to convince the police not to do it, and I was able to calm everybody down. And that's something I've always been good at, I think. It's like
Give it up for John Steady. Whoa, whoa.
like at each of the gatherings every year, there are so many ninjas that are like, this shit's getting shut down, or companies like, we're walking, we're taking all our shit, artists like, we're not going on, and that's something I felt I've always been good at.
Who's seen Trailer Park Boys? Who's ready for Randy's cheeseburger picnic? Alright, y'all know Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys, how he can talk to the cops? You know him? That's Rob. Okay. He talked his way out of any situation.
And my homie over here, Rude Boy, he's also fucking super charisma ninja, calming shit down. Like, but anyway, it's a good trait to have when you're trying to talk to people, because like a lot of times you gotta put out those fires, you know, all the time, you know what I mean? So anyway, the newspapers, the next day, the Peoria newspapers said the event coordinator for the gathering gave a profanity-laced plea for peace. That was the headline. And I always thought that was kind of fresh.
Making the papers.
Afterwards, ICP gave a speech on stage and calmed everybody down because there was a lot of tension. After that, everybody had a lot of fun, and then Peoria never wanted us back.
Why not?
You see the trend of the earlier gatherings. And it was weird because, like, recently, like, about 2 years ago, they actually got on the phone with us and they said, hey, do y'all want to do the gathering here again? Isn't that fucking weird?
They always come crawling back.
All right, now, next we go to Garrettsville, Ohio. The Crystal Forest, a.k.a. Nelson Ledges Quarry Park, which many consider to be the greatest venue of all time. Now, it was the first outdoor gathering, and the reason this gathering was so special is because all of a sudden, being outside, there was just freedom. You know what I mean? When you're in a convention center, you got all these guards up your ass, you got all these people directing you, you got all these fucking rules and regulations. Yo, you can't bring in this, you can't do that, can't bring in food,
you can't show your butthole. Fuck that.
You can't be naked, you know?
Well, also after the gathering is over, after the events of the gathering are over, in the convention center, the whole city shuts down at like 8 o'clock. So we got Juggalos running all across the city.
Right, that's true too. Now, during that gathering, me and Alex Abbas, the original CEO of Psychopathic Records, we went before a town meeting and we were nearly lynched. This is a true story. And there was like about 200 town folks and officials in the room, and they were screaming at us, over my dead body, are you bringing the gathering here? And literally, we were almost killed. You know what I'm saying? And I stood up, and again, I tried to do my best to calm everything down, and I think I did just enough where we weren't killed or beat, because we were able to walk out. Right,
profanity-laced plea for peace.
Now, one thing you might not remember, at the Nelson Ledges, there was very limited camping. There was only like 200 camping spots. There were like, I think 20 by 20 camping areas, and that was it. So, and there was no events at night, none. So at night, basically, Juggalo parties sprang up.
Club Chaos?
Yeah, Club Chaos.
For Club Chaos.
And I really do miss those days, because when you walk through those woods at night, it was surreal. Just all these wild parties, campfires, music bumping everywhere, nakedness all over the place, just weed everywhere, and just craziness. It was like, if y'all weren't there, you don't know what I'm talking about, but you could just walk through the woods at night and you were in a whole nother reality, a whole nother world. All right, so some of the brand new performers we had was Wolfpack for the first time, Jump Steady with Samantha for the first time. We had Dope, Corrupt, and Charlie Murphy, rest in peace.
Charlie Murphy.
We had Tech 9 for the first time performing during this one. Old Dirty Bastards, Power Man 5000, and Bushwick Bill. Rest in peace.
And that was was also one of ODB's final performances for the Juggalo family. Rest in peace.
Now, Bushwick Bill was crazy. Y'all didn't know?
Not Bushwick.
Y'all didn't know? I mean, he was really wild, man. He was a cool motherfucker, highly intelligent. You can sit there and talk to him, and like half of it was highly intelligent, and half of it was on some wild kind of space shit. But he would randomly show up naked at the gathering, just wandering around. And one gathering in particular, I think it was the 2005 gathering, he was missing for 3 days. He came down with the crew, and they were all like, do you know where Bushwick Bill is? We can't find him. So it was all through the gathering, find Bushwick Bill. You know what I mean? So everybody was like looking for him. Nobody could find him. The gathering ended. We're all breaking down the stages. Everybody's gone. All of a sudden, here comes Bushwick Bill on a mini bike, just gripping through the grounds, like for the whole day and night. Never stopping to talk to anybody, just gripping back and forth all through the grounds. You know, we're like, hey, Bushwick, and he just kept going. We didn't know what was going on.
I remember one night, went down to the food court. He was just like chilling in the middle of the food court, talking randomly, having a conversation with himself. Like literally both sides of the conversation. And he was just fucking, he was tripping, and it was crazy, and it was funny as hell.
Now, during this time, we had some new contests. The wet t-shirt contest, MC contest, Texas Hold'em tournament, where me and Alex faced off against the winners for a Ruby Charm. And I won the tournament. Just want to bring that up. And then I gave the Ruby Charm to the second place.
Look at baby Scotty D. Little baby, I bet you had hair then, homie.
And that's Upchuck, right?
Yeah, where you at, Upchuck?
Upchuck in his original paint.
Hey, give it up for Upchuck. Woo woo. Show that man some love.
Hey,
fuck Upchuck.
now we had an event called the Murder Mayhem Show, and the winners are flown to London, and they got to chill with basically with me for 4 days. We went to Paris and everything, all paid for by Psychopathic Records. And that was a real contest we did. And then there was the Burning Man Ghost. Y'all remember the Burning Man Ghost? So this dude would set himself on fire on this island all the way out on the lake and just basically walk around completely on fire, and it was awesome.
Dope.
And there was also cliff jumping where you got to jump off a 100-foot cliff into some water.
Oh no.
All right, so
Oh no.
That is where I met Rachel for the first time, as gathering the Juggalos.
all right, one of the cool things that happened at this gathering during the Nelson Ledges gatherings is I remember we had a face painting booth at the very bottom, and there was a ninja in a wheelchair, and he was trying to get down there, but there was no path or no way to get down with the wheelchair, and Juggalos picked him up and like carried him down the hill all the way to the bottom. And that's when you started to see that all over. It was like, you know, there was a change. It was like an evolution, if you will, of the love and respect that we all had for one
The
another.
family.
And you started to see that it really was a family. This wasn't, you know, like at the very first, when Juggalos were first coming to concerts and stuff, everybody, I think including themselves, they were just like, oh, we're fans of ICP. That's kind of what it was at the very beginning. And then it just evolved into something much richer and deeper, and the magic, and you really started to see that at Nelson Ledges.
Whoop whoop.
Now, if I can bring forth I just want to bring one fresh story. I was walking by at Nelson Ledges, and they had a chair set up with this crazy hot juggalette in a bikini. And they were like, hey, free lap dances. They were like, free lap dances. So they were
good,
like,
right?
they were like,
Sounds
hey, sit in the chair. Joe said, come here and sit in the chair and get a free lap dance. And I was like, all right. I was like, nah. I was like, I didn't, you know, I was smart enough because there was like 100 ninjas watching. I'm like, none of y'all want a free lap dance? Like, nah. There's something wrong with this picture. So I just stood to the side and watched. Sure enough, here comes somebody else. Free lap dance. They're like, oh, for real? Like, yeah, just sit in the chair. Dude goes to sit in the chair. The chair has false legs at the back. The chair falls back, And of course the chair was on a fucking steep hill. And the ninja rolls down the hill.
You fucked up.
Now, it was the funniest shit I ever seen. And I sat and watched that for like 3 hours. And they got everybody. Because the girl was so hot. She was like so hot.
Scandalous.
All right. The love train was in effect. Ninjas throwing shit at the love train and at the JCW wrestlers, which was a huge problem back then. There was too much shit getting thrown at them. And then there was the Bush people. Not a lot of you remember the Bush people, but they were in camouflage, head to toe, face paint, and they had all these giant branches. And when there was like about 6 or 7 of them, and they kneel down with the branches all around them, they looked like a big bush, right? And then as soon as someone got close enough, they all jumped up and started whacking them with the fucking branches. I loved it. I love the creativity every year.
Yeah, the creativity of hitting other juggalos with sticks.
Anyway, moving on, we go to the Mud Gathering.
Swamp Ninja!
Frontier Ranch, the Mud Gathering. Rain started in the parking lot, which turned it into a lake. It was the worst and the most memorable gathering of all time.
It was.
Because as it went on, you know, carnival rides were sinking in the mud. It went on to become Hill Ninjas versus the Swamp Ninjas.
Swamp Ninja!
And the Swamp Ninjas devolved into some Lord of the Flies type shit. They no longer became people. They were something else. And
I was a creature just skating through peanut butter.
The other thing was, because it was farmland, it became quickly known that wasn't exactly just mud, right? There was some manure mixed in that too.
Scoop poop.
So it was 4 days of juggalos wallowing in manure-laced mud.
And having a great fucking time.
That's still
First year caught the gathering plague.
when the gravel trucks, I guess Billy Bill called in some gravel trucks, and that's
Scotty D said he got the gathering plague at
right.
coughing
And by
blood.
the way, that was the first time ever that we got from Stranglemania, the original Stranglemania, we brought in the Mushroom Boys for the first time, which was very fucking cool. Anybody remember fucking Stranglemania? Ponderosa and Sweetenhouse was there. It was surreal because they came all the way from Japan. And we were like, we gotta do something dope. So we brought in the fucking Mushroom Boys. And they beat the fuck out of me, man. The fuck?
All right, I want to take a moment. To apologize about the carnival rides this year. I want to say we had a contract lined up, 100%, 8,000 deposit sent.
True story.
Everything was 100%. 5 days before the gathering, they call us up. We're not coming. Sorry.
Fuck that shit. It's alright.
You know, when you got something as big as the gathering, some shit's gonna go sideways. It always does. You try to do the best and keep it all together, but sometimes shit goes sideways.
Oh, and y'all, they kept the money too. That's some asshole shit.
So far, there's been no word about them returning the deposit.
Oh,
That's
fuck
true.
no, of course.
What's their name?
It's radio silence after they said they weren't coming.
He said, what's the name of the place? Juggalo Justice.
Let me get a little minute to think about that. You talking about going to war? Is that what you're talking about?
They're gonna do. Something tells me they're gonna do a little more than leave a bad Yelp review.
All right.
They're gonna dismantle the Ferris
Let me
wheel.
think about that. If we want to put them on blast, I will reveal that information at the Men in Black seminar later tonight.
Whoa, whoa!
All right. During that time, we had Too Short for the first time. Rehab for the first time. Tommy Lee, Digital Underground, Drowning Pool.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the.
We also had Snap Fights, Morton's List events for the first time. Mechanical bull riding. And then we started our own parties, such as the Club Shaggy, the Jump Off, and ICP's Phone Party. That's when we first started doing that.
That phone was kind of grimy though.
Club Chaos became even more in effect. Okay.
Club Shaggy was made out of cardboard. And you
All right.
loved it.
From 2007 to 2013, the gathering then moved on to Cave and Rock, Illinois. Hatchet Landings, aka Hog Rock.
Hog Rock.
Now, in the boonies with no cell phone reception. No police at all. Complete anarchy. Anything goes. And I'm gonna tell you why we didn't go back in a little bit. I'm gonna run by it.
Okay.
Okay, it was the start of the underground stage. It was the start of like the what we call the third stage. It's like up and coming artists. You know, artists that aren't big enough yet to be called in by, you know, festivals, but we were bringing them in to showcase the underground as a way to show love to the underground. There were some of the brand new performers we had. Boondocks for the first time. Spice One, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Method Man, Mushroom Head, Red Man, Necro, Hannibal Buress, Tom Green.
Necro does kill it. Woo woo.
Shotzi.
Yeah, Necro Butcher is cool.
Primer 55, Gallagher, Dustin Diamond, Afroman, Ice-T, Paul Wall, E40, Two Live Crew, Ice Cube, MC Hammer,
Good luck.
Busta Rhymes. Y'all remember Busta Rhymes? We've been trying to get him back ever since.
We tried this year
really hard. I really wanted him back.
He'll be back.
He was a legendary, he had a legendary performance. Everybody loved it. Julio, Scarface, CKY, had PE for the first time. Play the clue.
Play the clue. Play the clue.
I tried to get together a Clue tribute band for this year's.
Real shit. Real shit.
I tried really fucking hard.
And Rob, I'm gonna put you on blast, man. He hit up Head PE's manager and asked them to play the clue.
Yes.
He did.
True story. I
did.
told him if y'all play the Clue ×4 what we normally pay you. If you do this.
Quadruple pay to play the clue.
Because, in my opinion, that would be headlining material. Like, you know what I mean? You would not be able to miss that shit.
And by the way, if you can laugh at yourself, come on, man. That shit would have been awesome.
Exactly.
So
We're working on it, y'all. Play that clue. Clunatics for life.
We had Onyx, Lil John Guar for the first time.
Wow.
George Clinton. Pauly Shore, Flavor Flav. Jimmy Walker, Mystical, Above the Law, Exhibit. Naughty by Nature, Bobby Brown, Warren G. Hobson. Brother Lynch Hung, Harlan Williams, Brian Posehn, Ralphie May, Static X.
Rest in peace, Ralphie May.
Rest in peace.
Cheech and Chong was at
Cheech
that.
and motherfucking Chong.
And I couldn't even see him. I couldn't. It was so packed and out the sides you couldn't even see it. Danny Brown, Vampiro, The Far Side, Master P, Ric Flair. Now, some of y'all, a few of y'all, kind of ruined it. They were throwing
Ric Flair.
Well, yeah, ninjas were throwing shit at Ric Flair for some reason.
Who threw shit at Ric Flair?
Ric fucking
You
Flair.
asshole.
Like, I guess he should have known to take the bumps so Rudy move out.
No, Ric Flair just took the 10,000 and said bye.
P.O.D., Biz Marquis, Raekwon, Ghetto Boys for the first time.
Whoa, whoa.
Swollen Members, Ritz, my man Jelly Roll.
Whoa, whoa.
We love you, Jelly Roll.
We love Jelly Roll.
And we hope you don't go down the dark path. Because there's no hate on our end. I'm
We
sure.
love Jelly Roll. We're trying to get him. We'll get him next year.
The only reason,
We love Jelly.
okay, you can blame it on me. You can blame it on me because the
Rob.
only reason he was not brought in this year is because we tried to change it up. If you had a tour going out, you can't have the exact same lineup every show, every tour.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to switch it up. Yeah, he performed 5 years in a row, and I basically
5
got
years in a
on,
row.
and I said, look, man, just take him, you know, watch it. We're going to have you set this one out, bring him back next year. It's all love, you know what I mean?
We look forward to the return of Jelly Roll and the White.
It's
Phenomenal.
We had Mayday, Seven Dust, Tone Low, Jim Norton, Rob Bass, Slick Rick, personal favorite.
Daddy.
I mean, it's a legend, Slick Rick. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And of course, Charlie Sheen. All right, so look. Okay, we had the greatest event in wrestling, in my opinion. One of the greatest wrestling events of all kind at Hog Rock.
That's right.
Hands down. If you're a wrestling fan from back in the day till now, this is the biggest card ever assembled in the world.
Ever.
Straight the fuck up. Listen to these names. Tracy Smothers, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Tito Santana, the Rock and Roll Express, Booker T, fucking Wildfire Tommy Rich, the Headbangers, Bob fucking Backlund,
Bob Backlund.
Chicken wing?
Raven, Al Snow, Ken Patera, Coco Beware, Rhino, Sabu, Kamala, Jerry the King Lawler, Rakishi, Brian Christopher, Dutch Mantel, The Powers of Pain, Zach Gowen. That's just the first list.
Keep it going.
Just keep swimming.
All right, Jimmy Snuka.
Oh, the one and only Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ronnie Garvin, the Hands of Stone. Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Eugene. The one and only, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. The Honky Tonk Man. Jake the Snake Roberts. Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Drunk Terry Funk.
Easy dub.
Big Daddy Viscera, rest in peace. Rob Conway, Cowboy Bob Orton, Rowdy Roddy Piper, rest in peace. Abdullah the Butcher, Gold Dust, Butterbean, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Ken Shamrock, the Nasty Boys, Kevin Nash, Nick Foley, Gangrel, and the motherfucking Boogeyman.
Yeah. Now check it out.
JC Dub. JC Dub. JC Dub. JC Dub.
Now, I was there for that show, and I remember looking at all the wrestlers that were gathered in the back, and it was like a great family reunion for them. Like, a lot of them hadn't seen each other for a long time. Some of them hadn't even wrestled for a long time. And there was so much love and camaraderie back behind the backstage area, because it was like, man, all those legends, all those great performers, they all shared history together, they all shared time on the road, coming together like that. It's such a fucking great moment. It's one of the greatest moments in wrestling of all time, and I stand by that. All right. So now we had the drug bridge. Now the drug bridge was whack in my opinion because they were hard selling. You know what I mean? There's one thing, hey, you want something. There's another thing with all up in your face, like pressuring you to buy some shit.
Kill your local heroin dealer.
And they were not juggalos, they were drug dealers, straight and simple. They might put on a fresh, clean ICP shirt they just
From
bought off the
Walmart.
rack to try to blend in, but they were not juggalos.
They were druggalos.
If you walk across Drug Bridge with any kind of camera showing, they would threaten you. So
They sold crack to Scotty D, got him addicted.
So we had Lake Hepatitis.
And don't forget about the drug bridge horror.
Lake Hepatitis, where Shaggy lost his charm. and to this day, it's like the lost treasure. You know what I mean? And then we also had love train wars are getting out of hand during this time.
Scrub.
All right, and we also had the infamous Tila Tequila incident. Now, the Tila Tequila incident is actually the worst thing that ever happened to the gathering. It really was. Because that bad press went out there and it made it extremely difficult to do any kind of business with hiring artists into the gathering, with hiring businesses into the gathering, because it really gave it a really bad negative light. And they thought that that's all the gathering was artists and performers getting pelted with bricks to the face.
I think Shaggy said it best though. If I was getting pelted, I would have moved the fuck out of the way.
Okay, then there was that ninjas that was creeping around stealing shit. He got caught. Right.
Juggalo justice.
Rachel, if you wanna tell the story of that one.
I was sitting there doing my thing, my innocent little self, selling my artwork, and come down a hill. Here's a ninja wearing a bumper as a chain, and I said, that's new. Then comes a ninja with a steering wheel and a carburetor, and next thing I know, somebody's handing me an oil cap, and I said, what the fuck is happening? Car pieces coming down, dismantled.
So yes, they ripped the car completely apart.
Hey, can we find a picture of the car? It's somewhere in here.
It might not be.
It's not?
Okay, now, the reason we didn't go back to this particular location was because in 2013, the gathering tanked financially. Okay? I wasn't running it. I want to bring that up. At that time, I was doing EMS. But basically, the gathering tanked and lost a shit ton of money. And it wasn't due to a lack of draw. There was a lot of ninjas there. It was just over expenditures on the artists and everything else. And so in return, there was a lot of money owed to vendors. Like across the board, all vendors were owed. Now we have since paid them off.
Of course.
But they were really pissed and irate at the time. And as you know, Hog Rock is in the middle of nowhere. You only have one vendor for each thing to choose from. And they were all pissed off at us. And they were like, we're not doing business with you. So we couldn't go back.
Couldn't get the tents, couldn't get the...
Now the other reason was because in 2014, and again, you can blame me, I kind of took over the gathering again.
It was 2013. Was that bad year? 2014 you took over, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 2014 I took over the gathering, and I was like, it's been there for 7 years. You know, it's getting a little played out with the drug bridge. We need to fucking move on. Because my vision of the gathering has always been a carnival. You know what I'm saying? It moves. It moves around. It's a freak show. It's everything that moves around all these different locations.
It's a traveling circus.
Yeah. So I wanted to move on anyway. So let's not make this try to make this work. Let's just move on and do it somewhere else. And that's when it came to Legend Valley, Thornville, Ohio. From 2014 to 2016, and my personal favorite location for the gathering. Now, Steve Trickle, who owns the property, he welcomed us with open arms and showed us a lot of love when nobody else would. Because we had another location set up in Kaiser, Missouri called Crybaby Campgrounds, and they were pissed off, so they basically started a petition to keep us out of there. And the people that own the property, the whole town was like, we're not gonna do business with you if you bring the gathering of the Juggalos into your area. So she had to back out, and we were like close, like it was like, like 5 months or 3 months out or some shit. Yeah.
You gotta understand, Rob works on this for a year straight. And he put so much planning in, and for them to pull the plug, fuck that shit. But all the hate on the outside makes the love on the inside that much better.
So Steve Trickle saved us, and I have mad love for that ninja.
Give it up for Steve Trickle.
And he told me, everybody's trying to keep you out and everybody's against you. That makes me want to bring you in even more, because he was a rebel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this ninja did time, you know what I mean? He was like, fuck them motherfuckers, come on in, I got your back. All right, now the land of Legend Valley is actually sacred land. It's where native tribes would meet and gather together for giant powwows and discuss things, like right on this land. There's actually an Indian burial ground there just off of Legend Valley. It's not actually on the ground, it's just off of it. And Steve doesn't let anybody go up there because, you know,
Out of respect for the native First Peoples.
But you can feel the magic in that land. I swear, man, like when you're there, it's this like positive vibe just flowing through you. There's an energy there that's really wonderful.
Yes, it's a powwow for our tribe.
And not to mention that every great artist has played there.
Yes, that's been a concert venue for a very long time, long before Steve Trickle took over. All the greats played. Jimi Hendrix played there, Grateful Dead played there, who else? Rolling Stones, you can name it. All the greats have played there, including Insane Clown Posse and the Juggalos.
Now, some new performers at Legend Valley, the Wizard of the Hood show. Now, in my opinion, the Wizard of the Hood show was the greatest show I've ever seen. And everything came together for that magically. It really did. Like that giant screen shit you saw in the back, like they were working on that programming and trying to get that video up, and they were like, look, it's gonna be a minor miracle if this video plays all the way through. You know, and the screen was breaking down. The small people that came in and did the Munchkins, they rehearsed that show one time. You know what I mean? And somehow it all came together like pure magic. And I was looking out in the crowd and it was all wonder and awe and just like, it was like the greatest shit ever. Like, oh, fuck it.
We have a wonderful picture at Psychopathic Radio of Shaggy 2 Dope in it, some fool in a fuck off shirt, like, holding up his middle fingers to the crowd, and it's just a sea of middle fingers. You wanna hear it?
You know, and when, I don't want to get it too much into the whole, you know, twisted thing going sideways, but we were trying to work it out with them, and we were basically like, man, think about this. How great would it be to do a Wizard of the Hood tour? You know what I mean? To go out with this nationwide. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe someday.
It would have been awesome. You know what I mean? And hopefully someday. One day.
If the love is there.
You know, everything changes and it can change back. All right, so we also had Shock G, Killjoy Club for the first time.
Killjoy Club.
Gilbert Godfrey, who's coming back at this gathering. Big Hoodoo for the first time. Puddle of Mud, Cess Crew, Flostradamus of all performers. One of the greatest too, man, it was awesome. Biohazard, Suicide Silence, Cannibal Corpse, Loonies, Yellow Wolf. Yellow Wolf is in my top 10 all time.
Oh, phenomenal.
Dope D.O.D., another one of my top 10.
Dope D.O.D., give it up for them ninjas.
The Mafia 6 in this moment who fucking killed it. Mad Child, Waka Flocka Flame. Flocka. All right, look, if y'all haven't heard the story, before the gathering, Waka Flocka was catching it. There was mad ninjas online like, fuck him, we're gonna fuck his shit up, we're throwing shit at him, he's getting the Bubba Sparks Award. It was all negative. He got up on stage and sure enough, shit started coming in like a hailstorm. He caught a half a cup of beer, started drinking it. He caught a hot dog, started eating that. He just kept on like, what, you know, and the crowd all in front was the most hostile crowd you have ever seen. All the haters that pushed forward just to get it to him. They had this all planned. And in the midst of all that, the motherfucker jumps into the fucking crowd.
Oh, shit.
Zero fucks given. Zero fear.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, in one fucking second, mad love. You just seen the total transition. All of a sudden, everybody's like, oh shit! Oh. And it was a complete reversal. And it was the really, realistically, the greatest moment in musical history. Easily the top 3 greatest moments in musical history of all time that I've ever seen.
Give it up for Waka Flocka Flame.
Cypress Hill for the first and only time. Machine Gun Kelly.
MGK.
La Coca Nostra. Horror Stitches. King A10, Twista, Judah Freelander, and Danny Kaye.
Yo.
A few of y'all know about Danny Kaye.
What do you know?
He's one of the best of all time. We grew up listening to him. He's so bad that it's good.
Oh, it's glorious.
Ninja Olympics, 2 Tough Tonys fishing tournament, some Bizarro World for the first time.
Yeah.
The Freakshow Deluxe, Killer Clown Academy, into the Equiside tournaments, all of this was there. Now, at one point, the ATF tried to come in. I don't know if y'all heard this story. I'm going to tell it again. The ATF came in, and I got a phone call from the police, the sheriff that was down there. And he was like, yeah, the ATF want to know where they can set up their command posts because they want to go throughout the gathering grounds and give out tickets to everybody with open containers and bullshit like that.
ATF is alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
I told the sheriff, no, this is a private property, we don't want them. All right, the ninjas showed up anyway. So they're like, the sheriff called me again. Hey, ATF's here, they want to talk to you. So I look over like from a far distance and I see, and there's like 12 Razor ATF vehicles with all these officers with the fucking dickhead mirror glasses on.
Fuck that.
They're all just sitting there just ready to roll out onto the gathering ground. And I see these old ninjas that are obviously their supervisors, and they're setting up an RV, a command post, just ready to fucking give out the bone for all 4 days of the gathering.
Press the Juggalos. Fuck that shit.
So, at the time, we had a film crew that was filming a documentary that's still coming out. Okay, it's still coming out. And I called them over because they had like 10 cameras. And I said, hey, before I go over there, can you guys join me? I want to get this on film. So they came over. I called Ferris, the Juggalawyer. I got Steve Trickle. I tried to get Billy, he wasn't available. And I said, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll in here, screw the fuck out of these people, get it all on film, you know what I'm saying, see what happens. So we come around the corner, they had no idea this was coming because there was a big fucking RV blocking the whole thing. And we came around the corner with all those cameras and film crew and shit rolling, and Ferris was over there, he's like, hey, I wanna talk to you. And I swear to God, those 4 supervisor ninjas, they're all sitting at a picnic table. When we came around, they got up, looked wide-eyed, and ran. I swear
Yes.
to you, true.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. What?
They were ducking and weaving in and out of vehicles in the parking lot, trying to get away and trying not to get out.
Run, bitch. What you scared of?
It was so awesome. And then the guys on the Razors were sitting there because they haven't got the order yet. They didn't know what to do, so they were just sitting there dumbfounded. And all the cameras are in their face. Hey, what are you doing here? And all of a sudden they got on the radio, over the radio, hey, bug out. So they turned around and started peeling off. And the last asshole in the line was flipping us off like this as he was rolling down the road. And we got that on film and it's coming out in the documentary. Now, how often can you say you had a victory against the police? Against the authority.
Juggalo
like
power.
We're not gonna go into the Juggalo March, but that was another victory. In your face, motherfuckers. Y'all are never gonna label a musical group or a group that's not gang like this a gang ever again. Fuck y'all. We made it, we threw a lot of egg on their face, and it was a fucking victory. All right, fireworks became an issue at this gathering. And it's the reason why we're not back there again. Because the fireworks, there's so many complaints, and they just got horses that were getting spooked. I mean, y'all are launching off huge fucking fireworks, earth-shaking fireworks at 4:30 in the morning.
so once again we're scaring the horses. We're uppercutting them.
I want to tell you an interesting story that happened at this gathering too. There was this old dude, he was the head of security down there, and he was a dickhead, okay? And he was like real spastic and high strung and just basically amped up all the time. And me and Dean were in the backstage area. It was about 5 in the morning. We were sitting on our golf cart, nobody was back there, and here comes this head of security racing because Juggalos are breaking through a gate. And he was racing to try to get over to Steve's house so he can tell Steve, like wake him up at 5 in the morning, I don't know why, and tell him that Juggalos are crashing through this fence because he was all hypered up. And he ran right into a parked semi-trailer with the golf cart. I don't know how he fucking missed it. I mean, it was a big-ass white fucking trailer, and he nailed that golf cart all the way up under it. He ducked at the last minute, otherwise he would have been dead. You know what I mean? And me and Dean are just sitting there, no expression, because we're blew out. It was like the 3rd day of the gathering, we're tired as fuck. And we're like looking at him. He manages to get the golf cart out himself. It took about 5 minutes. He's pulling it out, he's working with the metal. He gets it all the way out, and then he looks over and sees us looking at him. And he was praying to God nobody's seen it, you know? And we were just right there. And I'm his boss technically, because I hired him, you know? So I'm looking at him, and you know, we're not saying nothing. We're just, our brain can't even compute what's happening. And he's taking the cart, and he's trying to bend the roof back up. He's trying to bend it up, and he gets it about halfway up, and he looks over at us, and he's like, yep, that's all better. He gets back in his car, and he rolls off, and it's all like wobbly and shit. And it rolls off, and he rolls off, right? True story, about a half hour later, me and Dean didn't react, we didn't say nothing. About a half hour later, we're gripping around. Dean looks over at me and he says, did you see what happened to that security guard when he ran in his truck? And I look back at him and we just start bawling out. We could not stop laughing for about 20 minutes. I don't know why I was so late, the reaction, but it was just so... To this day, we tell that story all the fucking time. Man, I love the Dean. All right, and basically, this was the rebirth of the gathering at this location. And if I may be so blunt, the bad element was gone. You know what I mean? The drug dealers, all that shit. And there was some like, I don't know, I just call it the bad element. Like when we moved down the Legend Valley, it was like that was gone. And it was like the cream of the crop, the fucking true family was what was left.
His name was Corey Collins. He was 13 years old and he overdosed and died on the drug bridge. After that, we needed a rebirth. And so it was time to move on from that place. Rest in peace to that ninja. Rest in peace. It was time for rebirth and new life.
Okay, now in 2017, we're gonna touch upon this. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Oh no!
Lost Lakes Amphitheater.
Fuck Oklahoma!
It looked good on paper. It looked good on paper. A water park? Oh, we're gonna have a blast, man. This is great. Big ass water slides? Oh yeah, sign me up. The people were cool enough, the cops weren't. As you know, when we got there, it was hostility from the get-go. The cops had a whole list they handed me. If any of these things happen, we're shutting you down. If we see one pair of breasts, we're shutting you down. If we see people selling drugs, we're shutting it down. There was all these threats. You have no idea the hoops that we had to go through to keep it going. You know what I mean? I was in a crisis meeting every hour. That's no lie. Every hour, hey, we gotta come down there. It's just about to get shut down. I'd come down there, I'm talking to them. And basically I was like, y'all know what's gonna happen if you try to shut this shit down, right? Like, do you have any idea?
Already here.
You think Juggalos is just gonna be like moving on? Like, oh, okay, shut down, okay, we're good. You know what I mean?
Fuck that
I was like, you might wanna reconsider that.
No lie, every half hour Rob and Billy were called into the sheriff's office. It was insane.
Surveillance drones, police patrols,
Helicopters.
constant threats of arrest, and shutting the festival down. Even in the end, there was 0 problems at that gathering.
And the dice.
Yeah.
0 problems.
Who still had fun in Oklahoma?
The heat was unbearable and there was dust.
But it was the shit.
In the end, it was kind of a mixed reaction because ninjas loved it to an extent, but they also hated it for everything that was wrong. And nobody wanted to go back.
Can we say it? We will never go back to Oklahoma.
Do you remember the walk? They made ninjas walk a mile to get into the campground?
Juggalo Trail of
Because of
Tears.
some bullshit regulation,
Yes.
they didn't want you crossing that road at that point. You had to go down a mile to get in. Like, just anything you do to be like, fuck you, we're gonna make this as difficult as possible, we don't want you here.
And I want to give love and respect to the Kiowa camp, the Kiowa tribe who welcomed us there. We had them at Bizarro World, the original inhabitants of that land, also oppressed. But our tribe got stronger through it, didn't we?
So during this time, the Ray Shangri-La show, Shaggy 2 Dope solo show, Psycho Stick, Cage, Upon a Burning Body, Green Jelly, Little Debbie, Miss May I, R.A. the Rugged Man, whose power was cut off in the middle of his show, and grabbed a megaphone,
Punched the security guard.
rocked the shit out of the show anyway.
Fuck yeah. Give it up for Rugged Man.
Prof, Froggy Fresh,
Rugged Fresh.
Dandy Pump, Reno Riders and the Juggalo Yacht Club parties for the first time. And along with other flavor, of course, we had all the water stuff, including movies on the water.
Yo, who's...
Woodstock theme. Okay, from there we had the ICP's Hell's Pitch show, Ouija Mac.
Give it up for Ouija Mac. He in the back.
Immortal Technique, King ISO, Butcher Babies, Attila, DJ Paul, Mac Lethal, King Spade.
King Spade. Ooh-wee.
The Mike Busey Experience, of course, he performed his show for the first
Yo,
time.
shout out to Mike Busey and the Beauties. Those girls are the shit.
Cedar Six and Clownvis Presley. Now I want to tell you a story about Yellow Wolf. This is something that I've seen that I still don't understand to this day. Yellow Wolf was performing and he encouraged ninjas to shoot fireworks up at him on stage. Now,
He said it was a family
this is the second time he's done this. This is the second time he's performed. So ninjas are shooting bottle rockets and Roman candles, and they're just performing like nothing's going on, right?
What the fuck?
All of a sudden, I'm watching from the side of the stage. There's this loud flash and big boom, boom, because somebody shot one of those giant exploding mortars right into the center of stage.
Who did it?
The explosion of white sparks was so great, you couldn't even see who was on stage at all. They were totally engulfed with white electric fire. And I looked at that and I was like, whoa, they just killed Yellow Wolf.
Holy shit.
The music did not stop.
They didn't.
He did not miss a fucking beat in his lyric. He just kept rapping like nothing happened. He just came out of the white smoke and flame, and he was just still chilling.
And his whole band.
And his
kept
whole
playing.
fucking band, not one of them were freaked out.
And they just...
Now, 100%, I claim this 100%. Yellow Wolf is either a vampire or some kind of demon. There is no fucking way a human being would not run from a fucking mortar explosive that just blew off right next to you.
Hey, yo, my ninja said it best. He's a fucking juggalo.
He's a juggalo. He's a fucking juggalo. He's not faded by shit.
Whoa.
I implore you, please never do that again. That was terrible.
Is that a profanity-laden
And
plea for
whoever
peace?
did that was a fucking asshole on top of that. It was a mortar. You could have killed somebody.
Yeah,
Okay.
not cool, bro.
Overall, the gathering was amazing, man. It was a great fucking gathering. Like, it really was. It was awesome. Everybody had a great time. Everybody was chilling. It was magic all over again. We were home. We felt safe.
Whoop, whoop, stop.
Everything was great, except, again, the
Stop.
fireworks. There was too many complaints, and we had to move on again. And here is where we arrive today. The 20th annual gathering of the Juggalos has found its way to Springville, Indiana, at Shimmer Forest, where we continue the legacy of this great event where we come together for Shangri-La on Earth, the greatest family reunion on the planet, where we can forget all our worries for a weekend, shut out the outside world. Wherever you go is just pure love and acceptance and the camaraderie that exists within this true fucking family. Even ninjas that don't have family, you found it here. And coming here year after year, to me, is like a fuel to your soul. Like, you know what I mean? And it's something that's more important that you could ever relay with words. There's an importance with being here, with sharing this. You know what I mean? Like, my mom told me on your deathbed, what are you gonna ask for? Hey, give me my diploma. Hey, give me those gold plaques. Hey, give me my favorite video game collection. No, none of that are you gonna ask for. On your deathbed, you're gonna want to be surrounded by those who love you, those that you love. That's who you want to see at the end of time, because that is the most important thing. So the relationships that we build here at the gathering and at all the events we go to, they are the most important thing that you could be doing with your life. And I believe that and stand by it.
Thank you, Juggalos.
And I personally, we all thank you.
Thank you, Juggalos.
That we can share this time on our earth, this short time
Together.
with you all, because it's an awesome ride and an awesome experience, and we fucking love you.
20 years of the gathering of the Juggalos.
So let's continue on into the future together. Man, one love to everybody, man.
Family, family, what family, what family.